Looking back, I think I first demonstrated my bisexuality at the age of 10 when I accepted a proposal of marriage from my little primary school boyfriend and then went and tried to kiss my best friend in the girls' washrooms. It obviously didn't occur to me at the time to compare the feelings I had for her with the feelings I had for him, but with hindsight I can see that they were practically identical. Anyway, that was primary school. By the time I was halfway through senior school, I had already decided that I was a lesbian because I was constantly falling in and out of love with other girls. I didn't really factor in that I was at an all-girls school, and having no brothers, I was hardly ever in male company. I just thought, well, I like girls and I know what lesbians are, so that must be what I am. And I was blessed with a very liberal family, so even though it was the 1970s, I didn't really anticipate being a lesbian to be a problem for me. And indeed it wasn't at first. I embarked on a long-term relationship with my partner Jane when we were in our early 20s, and we threw ourselves into the London gay scene and all its associated political activity. But every now and again I would come across a fella that I rather fancied. And this was extremely unsettling for me because I really didn't want to be bisexual. I mean, back in the 1980s, bisexuals were viewed with great suspicion. They were practically seen as spies from the enemy camp. And there was a whole debate raging about whether they should even be allowed to cross the threshold of the London Lesbian and Gay Centre. People were going around wearing badges saying no bicycles, and they weren't referring to the two-wheeled method of transport. So the only person I could really come out to about these feelings was Jane herself. And fortunately, she also was bisexual, so it was something we could admit to one another in the privacy of our own home, but not anywhere else, really. But it did come in rather handy when we decided to start a family. We moved to Brighton by then. We moved here in 1986, and we had tried artificial insemination with no success. So in the end, we enlisted the help of a bisexual man, and we ended up having 4 children, 2 boys for Jane, 2 girls for me, all with the same dad, and he was and still is a dad to them, not just a donor. They're all grown up now, of course, and they seem pretty well adjusted and happy and successful. And even though Jane and I have now been separated for over 20 years, we still all do things together as a family, which is nice. Anyway, after our separation, I was on my own for several years, and then I met Les. And Les and I got married in 2003. And my initial reaction to being in a heterosexual marriage was not to say, oh, well, this definitely proves that I'm bisexual, but to say, oh, well, I used to be a lesbian, and now I'm obviously heterosexual. I have changed my orientation. Even though the same thing was happening the other way round. Every now and again I'd come across a woman that I rather fancied, or I'd have an erotic dream about women or something like that. So I couldn't really say I was heterosexual. And it's only really in the last 5 years or so that I have come to embrace the identity of being bisexual. And I think it helps that I'm now post-menopausal with no libido left to speak of, so I can look back on the whole shebang and say, oh yes, in the days when I did any batting at all, I definitely used to bat for both teams. And it also helps that there is now a B in the acronym, so that I can be part of the LGBTQ community without feeling as though I'm a fraud or an interloper or a spy or anything like that. And it's a really good feeling.